Encounter is brought to you by the Broome County Council of Churches.
Good morning. My name is Joe Sellepack, and I'm your host for Encounter today. December brings up lots of different memories and visions for each one of us as we approach this time of year. We remember maybe your children are at home putting together their Christmas lists. Maybe others are trying to find out what they're going to be buying for their loved ones as they go through this month. But one of the other things that is very important at this time of year is the music of Christmas, music of the holiday season. And today we're going to talk a little bit about that music and the different types of music perhaps, but one type particular, which is the choral music, which is very, very prevalent at this time of year. And we're going to look at the Handel's Messiah. And to help us look at this Handel's Messiah is the Downtown Singers. The Downtown Singers have been doing this for 30 years consecutively. And we're pleased to have Mike Randolph, who's the president of the Downtown Singers, with us today, and Bill Lawson, who is the conductor, who's going to be working with the choir to put on the show of the Messiah. Welcome to Encounter this morning.
Thank you for having us as your guest.
Thanks for having us.
So, Mike, let's talk a little bit about the particulars. When is this show going to be presented to the public, or this arrangement going to be presented to the public? Where and how they can get tickets and that kind of thing?
Well, right. The presentation will be December 21st and 22nd. It's at 8 p.m. at the Helen Foley Theater, which is the theater inside the Binghamton High School. And the tickets are $10 for general admission, $15 for reserved seats, and I believe the information is being shown on the poster that is on the monitor there, the phone number and email to contact our Ticketmeister, Rocky Porzio. Also, tickets can be obtained at the door the evening of the performances and in advance from any of the Binghamton Downtown Singers. And if you don't know any downtown singers, just ask around. I'm sure that somebody that you talk to will know someone who knows someone who's a downtown singer. We're all over the place. There are quite a number of us.
And if they can't read on the bottom of that, it's www.downtownsingers.com.
.org.
.org.
Yeah, we are a nonprofit.
All right, very good. And they can get all the information from there too, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Very good. So this is this is a special showing of the Messiah for a couple of reasons. I think it's the 30th year. And then it's also in memory of a very important person. You want to talk a little bit about him?
Well, Alan Crabb is our co-founder and was the artistic director of the Downtown Singers for the entire time that it's been in existence. The Downtown Singers, and specifically this Handel's Messiah presentation, was Alan's inspiration. It's something that he, when he was traveling the world as a tenor soloist, giving performances across the country, actually around the world, he would often be doing Handel's Messiah as the tenor soloist. And he would see all these people in large metropolitan areas, well-funded, well-heeled groups that would put on these messiahs. And he thought, why not in my hometown? Why not Binghamton? Why can't we do it here? And when he decided to end his travels and come back to his hometown, he happened to be in, I don't know the full story, but he happened to be in Centenary Church, downtown Binghamton, with Hugh Miller, who was the pastor of the church at the time, and they were both looking at and Alan said, gee, this would be a beautiful setting to do Handel's Messiah. And Hugh agreed to host it. And that first one, 1982, was the very first performance that Alan conducted. The exact number of choristers is not quite known, somewhere between 24 and 30.
Right.
All volunteer. Anybody that I think he had, at the time, he had a number of connections in the musical community, including Tri-Cities Opera. So in Alan's own inimitable way, he would go out and round up everyone that he could and put this thing together along with orchestra members who he could get to volunteer their services. And the word is that that night of the dress rehearsal, at about midnight, somebody finally said to Alan, "Do you think we're going to stop anytime soon?" the night before the performance, and so that's how it was born. And it was such a hit, okay, with the community that I said, "Let's do it again next year." And it wasn't long after that the officially was the official birth of the Binghamton Downtown Singers. That's how we came to be.
Now, the Binghamton Downtown Singers do more than just the Handel's Messiah. They sing throughout a couple of concerts, right?
Well, it's the mainstay is our Messiah, but we do a spring concert every year. We started out calling it the spring concert. It has migrated to the first Saturday in June, but
well, it's still technically
it's close enough.
But for here, that is of course summer.
Well, wait,
sure
it isn't the 4th of July.
No, that's right. That's right.
So
it is the kickoff.
We do other major choral works at that time. Mostly, my experience has been requiems. This past June, we did the Brahms Requiem, typically along with other pieces, Ray Vaughan Williams' Serenade to Music, etc. Other pieces like Elijah or the B minor Mass and so forth. That if you visit our website, we list all of the things that we've performed. We also do community service type music. We are participating in the Chow Benefit Concert again this year.
The chorus is for Chow, which is December 8th.
December 8th, yeah. Yes, it's Sarah Jane Johnson at 2:30.
2:30.
2 o'clock?
Is
2
when it
o'clock?
starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll kill me if I get it wrong.
Well, you are talking to the executive director at the Council of Churches, so we can get it in there, right?
Okay, very good.
Yeah, it works out pretty good.
For the past several years, we've also been invited to sing at the annual memorial service that's held for all fallen firefighters. It's held by as part of the New York State Fire Chiefs Association, and that's also in June. We've done other benefits as well, but those are our two main pieces.
And so Handel's Messiah was kind of the birthing of the Downtown Singers in a real way. How does that theme, and we'll maybe ask this of Bill. Bill, I know you're the conductor and the artistic director for the Downtown Singers. I mean, that really has a theme that kind of goes along with the Messiah anyway. So you want to think about that or talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Well, the large-scale choral work with orchestra that we're talking about is called an oratorio. And Handel's Messiah is certainly the greatest and most famous of all oratorios. And in terms of classical music, we can speak of what's called the canon, the small body of masterpieces that are universally acknowledged as such, and to which musicians and audiences constantly keep returning. There's something about them that can't be bettered, and we long to engage with them again and again. And it's fascinating that Handel's Messiah was perhaps the first work in this canon. It was within 25 years of its first performance, it was already being treated as a canonical work that wanted to be performed annually. And it's come down to us that way ever since. I would say what I would most want people to understand is there's something magical about the relationship between the sacred text, the scriptural words from the Bible, and the music. that somehow Handel found just the right way to set those words in music so that nobody has ever been able to better it. Maybe they might hope to do it as well, but never better. And it's been very satisfying for more than 250 years now for people to keep revisiting that music for the way it holds up the biblical text.
And what are some of those biblical texts that it draws from?
Well, Handel worked with a man named Charles Jennens, who is the librettist, you might say, of Messiah, but he wrote no words of his own. He was solely making an outline and drawing, selecting, choosing texts from the Bible. And he made 3 parts in his outline. It's charming because in the score it says part the first, part the second, part the third. We ought to put that in if there's still time. But part the first deals with prophecies concerning the coming of the Messiah. Part the second deals with the sufferings, the passion of the Messiah. And part 3, the shortest of parts, I think Handel knew that the audience's attention would begin to wane by the time they got to the third part. But part 3 deals with the end of the world and eschatological issues, the coming of Christ at the end of the world.
Yeah, and it's amazing that the closing of that, the Hallelujah chorus,
that ends part 2.
Part 2, right? So that's it's kind of like it goes between the two, between the suffering. And so is it that, would that be a reflection on the resurrection at that point?
No. Not. You see. A fascinating thing is that Jennens, in choosing the texts, concentrated on the Old Testament. Mm-hmm. If any of us were to put together verses from the Bible to
I know it's from Isaiah predominantly, is that correct?
Well, not exclusively, but many texts from Isaiah.
Right.
They're unusual books we wouldn't expect, like Malachi and Job.
Right.
So we might, in setting out to do this, choose lots of verses from the Gospels.
Right.
There are none in Messiah except for the brief narrative concerning the birth of Jesus.
Right.
And notice that he called the oratorio Messiah, not Christ. So he concentrated on the Hebrew scriptures and on the Old